Hello, this is Myra Elaine on the Buying Space channel. Today I'm continuing my unenveloping from Colleen Lyons, the OG, and she sent or offered two different pin lots. And the first pin lot is a patriotic pin lot. The first United States flag was made by Betsy Ross. And is a symbol of independence. And liberty. I love this little heart one. And democracy. This one has, most of these have frogs on the back. This one is like, has a brooch pin holder on the back. That one might be vintage. Some of these, a lot of these might be vintage. But most of these have frogs on the back. Let me start putting them over here. I took the starting bid on these. There didn't seem to be any other interest, which kind of saddened me because this was right before the 4th of July. Now this one I used to make these like at camp. I don't know that I ever did the American flag. When I was young, we had this pin art. We would also make bracelets out of rubbery strands of multicolors, but we would put things on these bobby pins too. There's the back of it, and it's held together. Bobby pin at the bottom. Bobby pin at the bottom. Okay. I got through that. Now this one, I had to work on. I got to be careful on how I lift it. Oh, yeah, I messed it up when I lifted it. This is why you put the bobby pin at the bottom, because these things can roll around the top pin, and if they don't have an anchor, they can become a hot mess. And this was a hot mess when I received it. It took me about 5 minutes to get it to this state. So if you had someone that liked to fidget or needed to fidget or work on something all the time, this wouldn't be a bad thing to give them, because you'd be constantly correcting these because they had rolled up to the top. Because if you put a bobby pin at the bottom, which would be really hard to do with these smaller size ones, it would anchor it down and keep them together like it does with this one. So I'm not thinking about making these, but once I had to, spend a little time straightening this out and fidgeting with this, I thought that's why that other one has that bobby pin at the bottom. Or maybe it's a safety pin. I don't know. Now, we have this one is really thin and lightweight. And it also has the brooch style backing. And here's one. This is completely, the flag is completely plastic. The others are have some form of metal in them. This one is the frog only that's backing. And I wondered if this had been replaced at some point. Thank you, Colleen, for offering these. I think the American flag needs to be respected, but I think we also need to celebrate freedom and recognize that not everybody in the United States to this day has freedom. And certainly in the past, we failed with that. And to be patient, tolerant, and understanding to those who have not received freedom, or their people did not receive freedom in the past. If somebody wants to take a knee because this flag hasn't stood for them or their family, friends and family, or their culture, for what it's supposed to stand for, I understand that. So I can both honor the flag, keep the flag, yet understand that everything this flag stands for hasn't stood that way for every person in the United States through the history of the United States. We have had some serious oppression, and we need to own up to it and recognize it and not criticize those who bring it up. We can't just leave the past in the past. You know how the old saying goes, history is doomed to repeat itself if we forget it. So we can't forget what's happened last week or 400 years ago. It's all part of our history. We all need to own it. We all need to understand those who might differ from us in what emotions this flag brings up for them. People have freedom of speech. If they want to take a knee, let them take a knee, no matter who they are or what the reason is. We all have a right to our opinion. And here is a modified flag, and it's a company pin. It says Maxwell House on it, and they sponsored, evidently, the Olympics, because it has the 5 Olympic rings there and USA on it. And it kind of has, tatters on the end of the flag. I really like this. We have Maxwell House is in Jacksonville, Florida, and it's at a cruel location. It's right next to the county jail. So all the inmates in the county jail get to smell that coffee factory. I don't know if they give them free coffee or if coffee is on their menu. It would be cruel and unusual if it wasn't, because I'm one of those people. I love coffee, and if I smell coffee, I want coffee. So hopefully they get coffee there. And those of you that go on about how people in prison don't deserve anything, some of those people in that prison are innocent. I'll tell you that right now. Some of them are innocent, and they're for the very same reasons some people take a knee at a sporting event, because they didn't get an equal chance. They were just blamed. They were just blamed for something somebody else did, and they're in that jail. There are innocent people in jail, and even the guilty people, God loves them, and they don't deserve to be in prison that has no air conditioning with 130 degrees. People are dying in prison from heat because the public is too cheap. Our government is too cheap to give them an opportunity to live. You know, if somebody's in there for shoplifting or smoking pot or a domestic violence dispute and the woman lied, or any kind of crime where they were innocent. The girl that got pregnant that didn't want to admit she slept with a man. Those situations still happen. But even if they are guilty of rape or murder, God loves them, and they deserve the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as much as they can have it in their jail or prison. They deserve to have the opportunity to live. And if it's 130 degrees, they're dying. So I cringe when I hear people say that they don't deserve anything. Because they do. They're human beings, and God loves everybody the same. And even if they did commit murder, they could have turned around the next day and realized how evil they'd become and confessed their sin to God and asked forgiveness. And guess what? God forgave them. And they are not any less of a human being than you and I are. So let the people in prisons live. Give them adequate temperatures, adequate food, clothing, blankets, what they need to live, enough water, enough food. We used to have a dog track down here at Orange Park. And they got in trouble. They had greyhounds. And they got trouble one summer. And this was years ago. They didn't have the area where they housed the dogs air conditioned. And I don't know who it was that came in. This was in Clay County, Florida. Somebody reported that the dogs were not in air conditioning. And I found out that year, I think it was in the 90s, that there was a law that you couldn't house those dogs. And I don't know, it was just the dogs in a kennel, but I don't know if that included any other animal, in a place that was over 83 degrees. And now we got human beings living in temperatures over 100. That's not right. You have to treat human beings better than dogs, even if they are greyhounds and they race and they make money. Doesn't matter. We have laws in this country that protect animals to a greater quality than human beings. That's not right, folks. I have 6 patriot ancestors that were involved in the Revolutionary War so we could have a voice in our government. Because Great Britain was passing laws on us, oppressing us, without giving us a voice. In England, to say what those laws were. Taxation without representation. It can lead to some pretty oppressive conditions. It's what happened to the Jewish nation under Egypt. So we can't say that we honor this flag if we don't make sure that people do have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, no matter what circumstances they're under, within the borders of the country this represents, the United States of America. Just food for thought today, people. Have a wonderful and blessed day. And God bless America.